Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be the most awaited video to film for me because I have been thinking to film this video for 4 months now. Like I thought to just make a wrap video in the end of January and then in the February and March, and now finally it's April and I have sat down and thought that now finally we should make this video because first of all I thought that just two monthly wrap-ups, but embarrassingly I didn't read those many books in each month to make a full-on wrap-up video. So I thought to just do it in 3 months basis or 4 months basis according to all the books I've read that month. So now it's going to be quite a long lengthy video. We have quite a number of books to talk about in this video. So I'm thinking of just doing a January, February and March wrap up because it's going to be a very too long video if we included April too. And in January I have read 5 books, and let's talk about January first. So in January, the first book of this year 2025 is Protecting What's His by Tessa Bailey. This was a very short quick read for me, and it was like a palate cleanser, very quick to read and not so drama and not so long. So it was a really good read, and I don't remember stuff about this book because it's been like 4 months I have read. So we have Ginger and Derek. So she's running from the law and the law wants her back. When Ginger chanced upon a post brimming with $50,000, the opportunity was too good to pass. Dreaming of a new start, they desperately want she and her sister flee Nashville. They have the money, each other, and the dreamy life that awaits them in Chicago. Chicago with its own challenges and a hot cop like Derek, whose intensity could make any girl weak in the knees. Tempting as he is, getting involved with the sexy officer next door is risky for a girl on the run. Yet one thing is clear, Derek's got his eyes on her and he wants more than just a taste. How far can Derek go in protecting what's his? So what happens is their mother is involved in some kind of illegal shit and stuff like that, and their father was not in the picture. So only she and her little sister, they're not so little, she's in college I guess, and they both are living in a very bad and toxic life in a very toxic house and with a very abusive mother. So she finds $50,000 in her mother's purse and thinks that this is the opportunity to change her life and her sister's life. So she took the money and flew away from there and then went to Chicago, where she met this cop Derek, and they live across the same flats across from each other in the same apartment, and there starts their story. And this book is like boy obsessed from the first glance. Like it was lost at first glance, and they have chemistry and intimate moments from the beginning of the book, and there he wants to protect her and she is running away from the cops, and this was somehow the whole story. And how lastly you can read about this, you got the picture. So I think it was a 3 out of 5 stars for me. It was an okay book. So if you want to read a very quick read, or if you are in a book slump and want to read just a very fast paced book, this is for you. So the second book we have, and it was such an up and down ride for me because I have so many thoughts and opinions about this one, like all throughout the book, because and it took me almost 3 months to complete it. So the next book we have is Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey, and what I was saying is that I almost read 90% of this book, and as you all know, the renovations was going on in my house, so I somehow packed all my books along with this one, and the 10%, or I can say 15% of this book was remaining. So I didn't thought of this, and when I unpacked all books I forgot about this book completely. I go on my reading journey as always and as usual, read all the other books and whatever, but I didn't wanted to continue this book because I knew what was coming in that 15%, that third act breakup and whatever. So I didn't want to read this and complete this and went through this heartbreak second-handly. So I didn't continue this, but now I have to make this video, so I started this again just yesterday and finished that 15%. And what I was thinking is, in the all this 50 to 60% book, I thought that it was an okayish book for me because I somehow prefer more of an found family book, you know, where there is a group of friends and this whole family dynamic, and somehow that is, but it was nothing like this in this book. So it was just a 3.5 star for me. But then I completed this last part and my thoughts completely changed because I just think about his love for her so much, like he's obsessed with her so much, and it became a 4 star for me after I finished it yesterday. So it was a really good book, and let's talk about this more. So what happens is he is a golfer, and she is his one of the biggest and the first fan ever. And somehow he is just going down the drain and not performing well in his games, so he quits. And somehow she is very disappointed in him, and he couldn't take it. He went to her house and just asks her to KD for her. KD is that person who helps the golfer with their games and whatever. And this is their story, how they went, both of them went to the campaigns together, and how they both gets close to each other. But he is boy obsessed from the first glance, like from the first page he is obsessed with her and just wants to protect her and do anything for her. And I really like that dynamic. He's so grumpy with everyone, just not her, and helps her achieve her dream of opening that golf pro shop. And if it's Tessa Bailey, you will get a 5 out of 5 spice. Like, her books are so spicy. If you want to read spicy books, just choose just Tessa Bailey. Okay, so the next book we have, the third book of this year, is Coach by Devney Perry, and I don't have the physical book, but I read it online. So let me tell you about this. This is a second chance romance and between a football player and his college best friend. So, football star, single dad, and once a long time ago mine. I have spent the better part of a decade forgetting Ford Ellis. If he had just stayed away from Montana, I might have erased the memory of his striking blue eyes and rushed smile forever. Avoiding him was easy when the only place I saw his face was on ESPN, and a remote control could fix that problem. Except my boss just hired Ford as the new head coach for the Treasure State Wildcats. Not only will I be stuck watching him on the sidelines this season, but avoiding him will be impossible now that we are working together. Maybe I haven't forgotten Ford. Maybe I still dream about what we might have been. Maybe he hasn't forgotten me either. Except those maybes won't change the fact that we were never meant to be. Maybe he was mine once, but as of today, the only thing I will be calling Ford Ellis is coach. So this is a second chance romance. Ford Ellis was a football player in his college, and his junior and best friend Millie were together. Like they are best friends and they kissed, but Ford's girlfriend got pregnant, so he had to go away, and he couldn't just tell her, and she thought that he doesn't want her. And then they again met when he was hired as a coach. It was also a very quick palate cleanser type of book, and it was not very much drama and something like that. And you can read it between the heavy, high, dramatic books if you want. And it was 3.5 stars for me, yeah. And yes, it was. I really liked this book, and I liked Ford Ellis. And the next book I read is Walking Olivia by Elizabeth O'Rourke and Rourke. And this is between a college student and her coach, so it's kind of a forbidden romance too. A track star with nothing to lose, a college coach who may lose everything to save her. Will Langstrom has too many responsibilities, and the last thing he needs is Olivia Finnegan, a beautiful but troubled new transfer student. Olivia is her own worst enemy, with a smart mouth and a past she can't seem to escape. And the last person she wants help from is a cocky track coach she can never seem to please. Refusing to be pushed away, Will is determined to save her and determined to resist an attraction that could destroy them both. I thought that this was a light-hearted read because I read about this book somewhere and heard about this book as a recommendation for a light, quick story if you want. But when I read this book, it was nothing light. Like, it was so troubled, and it was like, it was such a mysterious book. Like, you have murder mystery here, and spoiler alert, Olivia's family got murdered, and her little brother got murdered, and she don't remember any of it. She has nightmares every time, and I don't know how to tell about this book without spoiling it, but you should definitely read this book. Like, you will always be guessing that what happened with her, and what was the reason of her nightmares, and why was she's like this, like she was, what happened with her family and her brother. And it was a really dark, and I will not say really dark, but it was quite dark book for me, and it was not light-hearted. But I really love this book, and I gave it 4.25 star, and I would read it again. And the last book we have for the January month is All the Missing Pieces by Catherine Cowles. And this is also again a murder mystery, and it was so heart-wrenching. Like, let me tell you first about what the story is about. So sometimes the last thing you expect is exactly what you need, the final missing piece, and sometimes it comes in the form of a towering, broody sheriff determined to get in your way at every step. Ridley Sauber knows what it's like to miss someone, to feel like a piece of her vanished because it happened to her the night her twin sister disappeared. Now Ridley channels that loss into hope, traveling the country covering cold cases for her true crime podcast. She might not have found justice for her sister, but that doesn't stop her from finding it for others until Sheriff Porter Brooks gets in her way. Colt knows what it's like to have reporters descend on his town in the wake of a tragedy, and he is not about to let a fiery podcaster stir up trouble. It doesn't matter that her haunting blue eyes tell him there is more to Ridley's story or that he can't stop imagining what it would be like to touch her. But when Ridley's cold case turns hot and she is thrust into the crosshairs, Colt has no choice but to step in. Suddenly, Ridley is living at his house, drinking his whiskey and stealing his dog's affection, but she is also proving that she is so much more than his first impression. And as they get closer to the truth, the game they have been playing might just turn deadly. Like her Ridley's twin sister disappeared when they were graduating high school, college, I don't know. So and it was so heart wrenching to read that how her sister disappears and you know what happened with her. I don't have to tell you that. And she talks about all these cold cases that happens from country to country, city to city, town to town, and talks about people and talks with the people who lost their loved ones. And then she came into this town where somehow a case similar to this has happened, and the case that she was covering in her podcast this time in the small towns happens to be the little sister of the sheriff we have. So that also turns her on his radar and doesn't want to get her close to her sister or neither himself. So she is determined to find the criminal and what happened in her story and wants to talk to her. And somehow, in the end, she also gets who was behind all these kidnappings and assaults and all these cases. And it was such a plot twist, man. I didn't really expect that he will be behind all those things. Like, I don't want to spoil it for you. Please, just if you haven't read it, please read it out. But man, I thought that I just can't even tell you something because it will spoil the all the story for you. But just do read it. Like it's was romance plus mystery combined and favorite kind of genre. So yes, do read it out. It was 3.5 star for me, and I like this book very much. After two back-to-back mysterious books and so heart-wrenching books, I have to read something quick and light-hearted. So the next read we have is You Are the Boss by Emma Hart, and it's an office romance comedy, and it was quite good book for me. I gave it 4 stars because I want to read it again and again. And current life goal: hand in my resignation and get out from under the thumb of my cold, demanding boss that I have not so lovingly nicknamed the bastard. After a month of trying and failing to get the infuriating man to accept it, his grandfather offers me the chance I have been waiting for. Go on a trip up north for 6 weeks for a project that will solidify my boss' position as the company's vice president, and he will personally see to it that my resignation is processed on a return. The catch? I have to live with him for those 6 weeks. That's exactly how I acquire a rich, handsome roommate who doesn't seem to know what a shirt is, can't operate a washing machine, and might actually set the kitchen on fire. They're all sides of Theodore Black I have never seen before, but I still don't know if I want to kick him or kiss him until I accidentally walk in on him doing self care in the shower. And maybe the office isn't the only place he is the boss. I was just giggling and kicking my feet and just laughing like a mad woman all throughout the book. And first of all, I love the dynamic between our main hero, Theo, his father, and his grandfather. And all three of them were so obsessed with our heroine. Like, father and grandfather are not like those creeps, but they loved her like their daughter. And like, Chloe wants to resign because she can't handle all this pressure that Theo gives her, but Theo doesn't want to let her go because, surprisingly, and spoiler alert, he likes her. Like, he has this massive crush on her for forever, so he doesn't want to let her go. So his grandfather offers that go on that trip, work together, and accept the resignation by myself. So in these 3 weeks they get close somehow, and their dynamic was really lovely, and I loved the dynamic of those three with her very much. Like, so much. I really love those found family books where the hero's family and the heroine's family and all of them are together and lovely, beautiful, large families type of books. So yes, I gave it 4 stars and I reread it again. This was a reread for me and I absolutely enjoyed it. So you should definitely check it out. And now the second book of the February month for the February month is Luna and the Lie by Mariana Zapata, and it's a reread for me for fifth or sixth time. I just have lost count because I have read it so many times. I have first time read it 2 years back, and I absolutely fell in love with Mariana Zapata, and this is going to be the talk of the town for now. The problem with secrets is that they are too easy to keep collecting. Luna Allen has done some things she would rather no one ever know about. She also knows that if she could go back in time, she wouldn't change a single thing. With three sisters she loves, a job she mostly adores, and a family built up of friends she has made over the years, Luna figures everything has worked out the way it was supposed to. But when one of those secrets involves the man who signs her paycheck, she can't find it in her to regret it. Despite the fact that he is not the friendliest man in the world or the most patient, sometimes there are things you are better off keeping to yourself. I I don't have words to describe what her books do to me. Like her books have her books are my comfort zone. Whenever I am in grief or in trouble or in like the baddest of the bad mood, her books have this energy to bring me up. Like they fill me with so much comfort, like a rainy day and a hot chocolate and a coziest blanket and a coziest sweater. Like her books does this to me. And some people find her books boring because they can't read the slow burn in her books, but mostly people love her books because the books and the slow burn in her books are just chef's kiss. Like they both the male and female leads don't get together till the last of the climax of the book. Like it's just building up, building up, building up, and we as readers just are wishing that when will they get together. We know that it will be in the 10% of the book, but we somehow are just holding our breaths to just get together. Just if their fingers brush together, we will blush furiously. So that was intimacy in her books. Like it only talks about their chemistry and their friendship and their support and how they work together, and it's just building up, and then finally they will get together and it's like a relief, and then we will release our breaths. So I absolutely love her books. And in this book, what I didn't like was that Luna forgave her sisters too easily. Like if you will read this book, you will know why I'm saying this, but if I was in her place, I won't forget them so easily, and if ever. So she was more mature than me. But yes, I absolutely adore her books. It's a 5 star for me. And if it's a reread fourth time or fifth time and I again want to read it, it's absolute 5 star for me. And I love Rip. He is absolutely amazing. Like one of the best boyfriends, and how obsessed he is with her. Okay, the next and the last book for February month. I know it's only the third book, but I have read the very low amount of books in February, but it is going to be Under Lock by Mariana Zapata, and it's also a reread for me for again the upteenth time. So let me tell you the story. He was my boss, my brother's friend, a widow, an ex-fellow, and a man I have seen casually with a handful of women. But he was everything that gripped me, both the good and the bad. Worst case scenario, if things turned awkward between us, I could go somewhere else. I've gotten over epic heartbreak before, one more wouldn't kill me. After moving to Austin following 6 months of unemployment back home, Iris Taylor knows she should be glad to have landed a job so quickly. Even if the business is owned by a member of the same motorcycle club her estranged father used to belong to. Except Dex Locke might just be the biggest jerk she has ever met. He is rude, impatient, and doesn't know how to tell time. The last thing they ever expected was each other, but it was either the strip club or the tattoo shop. She should have chosen the strip club. Babe, I have handpicked everything and everyone in here. I know what I want and I get what I want. He breathed. And I keep what's mine. Like 5 stars. Like it's 5 stars for me again. Like I just, if it's Mariana Zapata, it's became 5 stars or 4.5 stars automatically for me. Like I love her books so much, and Underlock is also one of the special books by her that is very close to my heart. Like we have Rex and Iris in here. Iris has this estranged father who is with of the some of the illegal shit and involved in some illegal shit and stuff like that. And she and her brother is also in some kind of a motorcycle club, and Dex is also in a motorcycle club, and that's the whole dynamic. If you will read this, you will better get to understand that what I was trying to say. But if we get to the romance and the story, I just adore them so much. What I don't like is playboys, like who have history with women a lot. So it's a kind of quite of turn off for me. But thank God that it was not in this book, and Dex kind of has an experience with women, but it was not so described thoroughly in this book. It was only Iris and Dex in here and how they manages and solves all the problem her father brings. So yes, this is that. And one thing I love about Mariana Zapata books is that the hero always from the beginning loves our women, like loves our heroines, like not loves, but they are attracted, and you know they have massive crushes on our heroines, and it just makes reading so much fun and so much beautiful, because when we see that how he do little and big things for her, and I just really love that so much. So yes, it's going to be a 5 star for me again, and I really love Dex and Iris and their love story, and you should definitely check it out. So that's it for February month, and now we will talk about the March month. The next and the first book for the March month we have is All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata, and it's also a reread for me, and I really loved this book too. And let me tell you this: losing people you love is hard. Aurora de la Tour knows moving back to a place that was once home isn't going to be easy. Starting your whole life over probably isn't supposed to be, but a small town in the mountains might be the perfect remedy for a broken heart. Checking out her landlord across the driveway just might cure it too. She, when she was a teenager, her mother went to a hike and she didn't went with her, and her mother went missing though, and it's been 20-25 years and she still can't get over her mother, and she moves back in her old town again, and there she met her landlord now, Rhodes. And I absolutely adore this book too. It's again 4.5 stars for me, and I really love the dynamic between Aurora and Amos, his child, and it was really beautiful to read, and how she just gets together her life after such a heartbreak from her ex. And you will read this more about this, and I just absolutely hate her ex and his mother, like I absolutely hate them so much with the bottom of my heart. So but yes, finally she found her happy ending, her happy romance, and her beautiful life back together. So you should definitely read this one. So the next book we have for the March month is Love Redesigned by Laura Nasher. And if you have seen all the shorts I have posted about this book, I absolutely love this book again, and it was a really good read for me. Julian. If I ever caught on fire, Dahlia Munoz would fan the flames with a smile. So when she returns to Lake Wisteria, I fully tend to avoid the interior designer, at least until my meddling mother exploits my savior complex. The faster I help Dahlia find her creative spark, the sooner she will leave town. While I was busy getting rid of Dahlia, I overlooked one potential issue. What happens if I want her to stay? Now, Dahlia, people say the devil has many faces, but I know only one. Julian Lopez, my childhood rival and family enemy. I vote to steer clear of him while recovering from my broken engagement. But then the billionaire makes an irresistible offer: renovate a historic house together and triple our profits. Our temporary truce becomes compromised as we face years worth of denied attraction and mixed emotions. Giving into our desires is inevitable, but falling in love, that isn't part of the plan. So Dahlia and Julian are childhood frenemies, like more enemies than friends, but frenemies indeed. And Dahlia came back into their small town after her engagement got broken. And I hate her ex and his family. Like I absolutely hate them. This book just is not a fun, cute romance, but along with it, it talks much more about very hard topics like, spoiler, Dahlia can't be a mother and can't become a mother because of some complexities. Julian is also doesn't want kids, and he can't get over his father's death. And so this book talks about much more hard topics and how we can overcome them with love and support of our families and with courage and bravery. So I really love these books, and I absolutely love their pranks and how they pull the pranks on each other and get on trouble together. And I really love their mothers and all the family dynamic. And after this, we have the second book that we read is Love Redesigned, and I think I have talked about them before because both of these books are a reread for me. I have absolutely loved them before, and I again love them now too. So this book is about the cousin of Julian. We have Rafa and the nanny of his child Ellie. So point of view of a file here, Ellie Sinclair is a hopeless romantic who writes love songs. I am a struggling workaholic who could inspire 100 breakup albums. On paper, we have nothing in common except for my son. For 8 months, I have avoided her until our summer trip. 14 days, 2 islands, and one I shouldn't be attracted to. Spending time with Ellie is expected, but enjoying her company, that isn't part of our travel plans. But after my divorce, I swear to protect my heart at all costs, even if it means breaking hers in the process. Then we have Ellie. What's worse than working for a grumpy single dad, admitting that I once had a secret crush on him in high school? Thankfully, Rafael Lopez and I have changed since we graduated from Wisteria High. He is a billionaire with a company to run and a child to take care of. I am an unemployed songwriter he hired to watch his son and teach him music. We coexist without any issues until a vacation changed everything. Lines blur and old feelings for Rafael return with vengeance, and I face a new dilemma. Being his son's nanny is one thing, but wishing for more sounds like a heartbreak song waiting to be written. First of all, I really feel my heartbreak for Nico, Raphael's son, because he is losing his sight, and he will become totally blind by the age of 17 or 20 somehow, and I really feel bad for him. So after his first marriage broke and his ex-wife cheated on him, he doesn't believe in marriages and love and all that, and he somehow lives in solitude and just lives alone, and he isolates himself, so his family is worried. But then he spends time with his son's nanny Ellie, and then we have and this is also a not very light-hearted romance. It talks about so many hard and severe topics. Rafael, just like Dahlia, doesn't want kids. They can't have kids because of some complexities. So there is that too. And Ali also suffers from so many things. He suffers from self harm, spoiler alert, and how she got betrayed by her best friend, and how she again gets the courage to get back on track and just make music again. And you will read this book, you will find out what I'm saying, and you will absolutely love this book too. It's just not a fluffy romance books. Both of these books talks about very hard topics that we don't talk about in our daily life, but very important nonetheless. So you should definitely check them out. And their third book, Love Rearranged, I don't remember the name or the title of the third book that is coming, but I'm absolutely desperately waiting for the third book too, and it's going to be A Marriage of Convenience. So looking forward for it, and yes, check them out. My phone storage is getting full. It's like 99% full, and I'm just abusing it to just let me film some of the more clips, and that's the drawback of filming on my phone, because I can't have storage, and I don't have storage any day or every day or every second. It just gives me messages like your storage is full and whatever. What should I do, man? And mind you, if you are watching this video, do subscribe. Okay, so now the next book we have for the March month, yes, for the March month is called Rhythm and Melancholy by Mariana Zapata, and I hope that I'm saying the word name correctly. But and surprisingly, I haven't read it till now, because when I was going through my phase of reading all the Mariana Zapata books in one sitting, I read quite of negative comments or reviews about this book, so I didn't went with reading it. But now that I'm more mature, now that I think about it, I just went through it. I like this book, like, not, I think it was her quite younger work and first of her works. I think about this because there is a vast difference between the writing of her back then and now. So yeah, I can guess it was quite old work of hers, but it was good nonetheless. So we have Rhythm, Colin Melanchthon, and Melanchthon. So 26-year-old Gabby Barito might be a lot of things: loyal, sarcastic, one of the guys, and a pain in the butt depending on which family member you ask, but dumb isn't one of them. When her twin brother invites her to go on a tour as his band's merch girl, she isn't exactly screaming at the top of her lungs with joy. With no job opportunities pounding on her door, an ex-boyfriend she would still like to castrate, and no end in sight to moving out of her parents' house in Dallas, it would be dumb to say no to the chance of a lifetime. Two bands, three continents, one tour. Spending the next 90 plus days with three beloved idiots and eight complete strangers shouldn't be a big deal, right? If only the singer of the headlining band didn't have tattoos, a great personality, a fantastic body, and if he wasn't so funny. Let's be real, Gabby never had a chance against Sasha Malenkov. Like, first of all, I love this name Sasha. Like, he's Russian, of course, part Russian, but I really love that name Sasha. Like, it gives me mafia vibes, Sasha. So let's talk about this book more. I think this book has more of her dynamic with her brothers and best friends. Like, these are four of them: her brother and two of their best friends, childhood best friends, and her Gabby. So their dynamic is so cool, man, and so close knit. Like, you will read it, 80% or 70% of this book is about their dynamic, and there is in between romances too, as you can see in Mariana Zapata books. So they are on this tour, and whole book is about this journey and their like band, and they sing songs in different cities and towns, and you can see that how they get close together after each and every minute they spend together. So yes, I really love this. And the meet cute of them is like Gabby kicking Sasha in the butt, because she thought that he was someone else. So it was so laughable and cool that they met like this, and you should definitely check this out. And it was a really good read. It was like a 4 star for me because I didn't get attached to this book like I did with all her other works, but it was really good. I'm surprised myself that I hadn't read this till now, but I was glad to read something new by her because I'm desperately waiting for her to release some new books because I am just rereading all her previous works. So it was good, and you should definitely check this out. So the next and the last book we have for the March month is The Best Thing by Vijana Zapata, and it's also my first time reading this book. Some things are easily forgiven, other things not so much. Lani Di Maio made herself a promise. She was done. Done thinking about him, done worrying about him, done reaching out to a man who clearly didn't want to be found. Too bad no one gave Jonah Collins the memo. So this book is about Jonah and Lenny. Lenny is Luna's best friend. We talked about Luna and the Lie. So Lenny and Luna are best friends. So we will get to hear something about Luna and Rip here too. And it was really good to read about them. And what happens is Lenny and Jonah met somewhere in their vacation, or they were on a vacation or something. Lenny was at work, or I don't know, they met somewhere and hooked up and like really get close to each other, and Lenny got pregnant. And then Jonah just went off the mark, like vanished, like somewhere he fell into depression because he got a surgery and he fractured his leg or something, so he can't play soccer. He plays soccer, I think. No, rugby. He plays rugby, so he can't play rugby anymore. So he was depressed and didn't contact Lenny, and Lenny thought that he doesn't want to be in his child's life, and he didn't knew that he has a child. And Jonah came back looking for her after almost 2 years. So this was that story. Look, Jonah wants to redeem himself in her life and his child's life. He didn't know that he has a child. He did anything and everything to get back in their life and to redeem himself and to just make Lenny fall in love with himself back. So it was really good to read. And what I love the most about is the grandfather. So the dynamic between Lenny and Grandpa Gus, her grandfather, was so beautiful to read. Like, he was so funny and cool, and not like a general grandfather. He was so really cool. So I gave it 4 stars. It was a really good book, how they got back together and found their way back to each other again. So you should definitely read this too if you haven't, and tell me all the thoughts, what you think about all the books we have discussed today, and how many have you read and how many you have to read now. So yes, that's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Sorry we are not including my April book wrap up, but we will do it in another video. I have to say my bye now because my battery is 1% now. It's going to be dead. So yes, I'll see you all in my next video very soon. Till then, stay tuned and subscribe to my channel. And yes, bye.